Hello, everybody, to yet another episode of Chasing ServiceNow Features with Passion. My name is 𝐓𝐀𝐊𝐄𝐀𝐿, and today I will be your host. Before we begin today's session, I would like to share an important announcement. I was selected into MVP 2025 class, which marks a significant milestone in my ServiceNow journey. I'm honored and I'm happy to be a part of this community, and I will continue to deliver tips and tricks and knowledge and also learn with you guys all together from the ServiceNow universe. The topic for today will be email digest. Even though that there are a couple of videos and some information available, including official documentation, of course, this topic remains one of those ones, tiny ones, simple ones from the first glance, very confusing if we dig deeper, because they're not pretty well described, I would say, and some of the important details are left behind the scenes. And that is what I would like to do today and share my findings, finally wrap this thema up for me and for some of you, and move forward while getting beneficial from this amazing feature, which is definitely underutilized in the current world, ServiceNow world. So before we jump into the live system, let's check what ServiceNow gives us in terms of documentation. Let's look for email digest, and let's open this article. So email digest, for those who don't know what it is a single email that summarizes the activity for a selected notification, right? This is important. It's for one single specific notification and per specific notification, right? Okay. And its target record during a specific time interval. You can enable an email digest to reduce the number of notifications received when frequent updates to the associated record occur within a short time period. So that means instead of getting an email about every particular comment that happened on my record, I can set it up in a way that I will be getting a summary of those comments within a specific time interval, which I select. What else do we know? Email digest apply to email notifications only and not supported for SMS, push notifications, and activity stream. Remember this? This is important. How email digest work? In new and upgraded instances, email digest plugin is activated by default. Make sure you have it activated before watching this further. Admins determine which notifications can be delivered in the email digest and configure the digest content for those notifications. This is important. Email digest requires some additional configuration on the admin side, and that's why those type of users are involved. User enable the notifications and select the digest interval for a specific notification in their notification preferences. This is important. Email digest is not a global thing. It can be selected by user, per notification. Important. When processing an email digest, the system stores the digest configuration for the notification in the notifications table. Sys event email action or notifications table, a pretty well known table for most of us. It's where the system keeps its notifications. Temporary stores notification content accumulated for user in the email digest part, table name sys email digest part, and the email digest part users, table name sys email digest part user. This is important. Remember those two tables. We will get back to them in a little bit. Runs an email digest job every 15 minutes to check when a digest is ready to be sent to a user. This is clear. Sends the email digest to the user soon after the selected digest interval ends. That's also clear. And more or less, this is all that we need to know. All other things that are described here, I will show you in the live system. So let's get straight to it. My current system is running on Yokohama early release, and I'll be showing it here. So maybe if something is different on your instance, make sure that you also test it in your PDI in comparison with my video, and try to replicate it after that in your instance. Also refer to the documentation for your particular instance version. All right, first of all, what we can do is about the digest intervals. If you type digest intervals in the application navigator, you can find an email module with the digest interval module. Open it, and you can see that there are 4 available by default digest intervals. You can open them, and you can see here you can specify a specific time period in the interval field. You can create as many new ones as you would like. We'll stick to the default ones because they are more than enough for us. Now, what about notification itself? What should be done by the admin so that notification works? So first of all, let's open the notification table. Look for notification, go for email, and then notifications. I have already cloned one of the system default notifications, added my tag. We're gonna be testing it with the comments left on incident. The original notification is called like that. Let's open it and see what we can do. I'm not going to spend any time on when to send, who will receive, what it will contain. It's pretty standard. You can find a lot of information about the default setup of notification on the internet. I will switch directly to the digest part. So to make notification available for digest feature, admin should select allow digest and press save. Normally, if you are preparing this feature, you do it in your sub-production environment and then roll it out into production. You can keep it active there, as probably your emails are disabled there. As soon as I select allow digest, you see that there is additional tab appears. Let's open it and check what it has. So by default, it will be empty. I have made already some tests, so that's why you have seen my previous settings. And what you can do here, right? If you know that on the previous step, what it will contain, we can specify an email template, which will be basically a template with the content which we reuse in multiple notifications, and including the styling, right? If we have not plain text notifications, but styled HTML-based notification, this is where we need to use template to make our job easier, because we may have multiple notifications for a single table. It would be a shame to always copy-paste those style inside of the message HTML field for every notifications. Otherwise, we need to follow do not repeat yourself principle and utilize all the available features to simplify our job, and this is one of them. In digest, however, we have a similar fields as we have here, right? We have a digest template, which we can use if we properly configure it, we can use the same one as we use for on the what it will contain tab. In this case, I have already copied the system one from ServiceNow. And we have digest subject. This is basically the subject of an email. On the what it will contain field, we say it's comment added to task number. Here we say it's a comment digest for specific number. What else do we have? Digest HTML and digest HTML separator. So the separator used to separate everything that you specify here, right? So if I add an additional comments here, the separator will start to separate them when the digest will be generated. So it's clear, right? Every time the comment is left on the ticket, everything that is here will be generated and stored somewhere. And as soon as we hit the interval time, everything that was generated, those so-called parts, will be combined together, separated using the digest separator, and attached to the digest template. However, there is a trick and the important thing to know. If I open the template, you see that message HTML and message text is empty here. Why it is important for digest not to have anything here? Because if you put, and why I'm saying this, because maybe I was one of those guys who was storing the actual email template inside of the email template itself here, while the correct thing would be to store your styling in email layout. And as you can see here, this is exactly what ServiceNow is doing and giving you with that a great example of how it should work. Right? Inside of the styling, everything that we want to appear within this this template will be replaced where we have now the notification body tag, right? This one. So make sure you do not have any styling here, because when digest will start generate itself, it will duplicate your design many times, and of course you don't want it. You want a tiny, greatly styled a single email, which looks great and also not confuses the users more than it's needed. All right, now what is happening actually when during that interval before those digest email is generated, right? And if you remember, I asked you to remember those tables: sysemail digest part and sysemail digest part user. So let's look inside of them. But first, let us save the notification. Let us then impersonate our test user. Let's go to the preferences, notifications, system notifications. Let's look for the notification that I have cloned. Here we go. Let's open it. And you see Now I can activate it again. It was activated because I was testing it. Normally it's not activated by default. So now we activate it. And here is where we select our digest interval. We'll stick to 1 hour. All right, now it's configured. Let's end the impersonation. Let's open one of the test incidents I have prepared for that. And let's leave a comment. Let's basically left 3 of them. First one, the second one, and the third one. Now, what is happening now, you may ask? Let's check those tables. The first one is this email digest part list. As you can see, if we sort them by created and exclude my testing ones, we have now 3 email digest parts. Let's check what's inside. And inside we can see an actual content. And you may ask, it's a little bit too much or not exactly what we specified inside of the digest HTML message HTML field. And you will be right, because on the record that we are using, there are more than 3 different comments already. And in ServiceNow, the default behavior for such case is always to include the last 3, right? That means that every digest part that is being generated will always include the last 3 comments. To control it, you can either change it inside of the email properties here, number of journal entries included in email notifications. You can set 1. Or if many of you, or maybe if some of you are using some notification email scripts, you can replace your digest content with the email notification script and control your behavior there without touching this out-of-the-box setting, which will of course impact all other notifications on the platform. And that's something to be aware of. All right, now, as you can see, those digest parts are being collected here, and they are containing the actual content. But you remember there is also another one, another table, which is called this email digest part user. And this one is where the user configuration meets the content. If you open it, you can see that the email digest part user table has 3 records with the state pending and when ready to send field set to approximately in an hour from the moment from now, and exactly in an hour from the moment they are created. Right? This is where the user interval kicks in and sets this date. What we are going to do now to speed up this process a little bit, I'm going to select all of them. Check all of them, and I will reduce this number to 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So it will be in 1.5 minutes from now, approximately. What we need to do now is we need to check when the next job kicks in and checks these components. Let's do this by going to scheduled jobs. Let's look for digest. And here we are, next action 2015. But what should we do if we need to start it now? You do not see execute now button as you normally do for the scheduled jobs. And also if you open the job, you do not see much. So what you need to do is you can modify the next action value and set it to the closest date time you would like it to start, right? So now it should happen within the next 20 to 30 seconds. And as this value is already higher than the value we specified here, the values, these parts, will be taken, combined into a single notification. In the single chunk, the single chunk will be put inside of the notification body tag of layout, and the beautifully looking notification will go towards this user. And let's confirm that it's exactly what is going to happen. Let's open emails. And here you go. Our job hit again, and the digest was created. Let's see the content of it. Perfect. Again, 3 notifications in every post may not be a very optimal solution. And again, as you can see, if we post some of them in close proximity, right? Like 5 seconds interval, for some reason, this two doesn't really, they're the same. Yeah, this is what happens. This what I also noticed. It may not be a big issue, just like a tiny bug probably. When the notifications closer proximity are not properly recognized as first, second, or third. But again, my personal preference to use notification script for that. There you can attach additional styling, do some checks, whatever you like. Anyway, this is how it works. All right, I presume now the trigger part, right? The scheduled item thing is clear, how you can speed it up a little bit. The email digest part user should be clear as well, right? Now, if we refresh it, you see that all of them are processed. And the next job which will hit will ignore all that processed. You can select it too and switch the state back to pending, then they will be sent again. But probably not something that you need. Yeah, that's more or less it. I hope you find this session useful. Please use email digest. It helps to reduce the load of your email bombardment of the users. And it's a great feature and definitely one which you can benefit from. Thank you guys for this great time, and have a nice rest of your day. Bye-bye.